Jesse, how are you doing today? What do we have on the agenda for today's call?
I'm doing good, brother. We're going to be talking about some concrete success principles that really, if you want to be part of the 1% in any area of your life and in real estate, these are principles that we should follow. And I would say that by no means, on these calls, we're sharing kind of the journey as well. We're not, I do want to say that we're not ever trying to present this as we are the only experts and we've mastered it all. We're on a journey all together. Would you agree?
I agree 100%. And everything that we share is learned from other people that are much more successful and have much more experience than we do. So we're just the messengers passing on the information that we know works, that we've used, and that we were taught by others.
Yeah, look at us as reporters. We're going out, finding out things that work, trying it out, testing it out, and inviting everybody to come along the journey with us. So let's dive into this. What is this M.E.R.F? What are these 5 principles? Number 1 is modeling success. Modeling success. What does that mean? That means not necessarily copying like this kid right here, but modeling. What is it that works, right? So when we started, Steve, I don't know if you remember back in the day, you used to like day in the life of a superstar. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah, I do remember our coaching program that we were in had day in the life of a superstar. I would watch those. And, based on this first one, number 1 on modeling, that's what I did when I got back into the business and said, hey, I'm going to do this full time now. This is back in 2012. We just had our first child. I need to make more money because my wife was going to be home with the kids. And I looked around to see who was making all the money in real estate in my area. And I realized, I looked up the last 4 or 5 years and it was the same people over and over again. And I started to look around, see what they were doing. And what I found is all of them had a coach of some sort. They all had a coach. And so I got into a coaching program right away. And I followed exactly what the coach said to do.
And if you don't, you'll end up chasing a bunch of shiny objects like a lot of people do. And that's why they quit, because they're like, oh, this is not working. I tried that. It's not working. And it's all over the map. So learn from the best, model them, because history does repeat itself. If you look back at historical track records of people that have been successful, there's certain things that they do that we should be doing. So learn from them. Like you're like borrowing all of their pains and experiences and costs to go through what they went through to learn it, borrow that and apply it. So that's kind of the model here is to think, don't go it alone. Don't blaze a trail. And I'm guilty of doing that so many times. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to dabble in this. And it's that shiny object syndrome that we talk about. Another thing here is that success leaves clues, right? Study the clues that people leave. What does that mean to you, Steve?
Well, it's the same as modeling success. If you study and you look at what other people are doing, you're going to find that they pretty much all of them do some of the basic same things. And, that's the clues. Basically, if you start following, some real successful people and you say, hey, wow, this guy, this is the 3rd person that I have started to follow or get mentored by that reads books every day, that reads 10 pages a day, or that reads a new book every other week. That's a clue. That's a clue. A lot of successful people there's certain things that successful people do every single day. And, another one of those is following a schedule every day, the same schedule, getting up early. Little things like that are clues when, all these top people are doing the same thing. That's a clue that it probably works.
Pay attention to those. All right. So get mentors. We talked about that. And more than anything, and I'll say this, mentors will actually give you more if they see that you're actually implementing and if you're trying to model what works. And so before you go just like saying, oh, it doesn't work, or, complaining to somebody, why don't you try it and then say, hey, I tried A and B. B seems to be the best. What do you think? If you're looking for mentorship and leadership to help you, and someone that you're trying to model to give you more attention and guidance, go do what they already said to do. All right. And say, hey, this is my feedback. What am I missing? So that's one of the little things that I learned early on. Okay. So modeling success, we actually put a book together that is a documentation of the things that we know that works. So model what's in the blueprint that is free to everybody. Everybody can go download it. Go to extremeagentsvip.com, download it. That is a model. That is a path. So go do that. All right. Second thing, Steve, for this principles of success is to control your mindset. And I like this quote by Bob Proctor. He said, think of the amount of time that is wasted on negative energy. We're thinking like, what are they going to think about me? You know, it doesn't really matter. It's what you think. It's how is your mindset that matters. Thinking about what other people, wondering what they're thinking about, second guessing every decision it's poisonous. And I've been guilty of that. So Steve, what do you care? How much do you care about what other people think?
Well, unfortunately, more than I should. And I realize I've noticed in my life when I do focus on what other people are thinking, and I do focus on the negative, and I buy into a lot of that stuff, man, it rips the energy. It just sucks the energy out of me. And if I am feeding myself with positive, if I'm taking action in my life, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know, I saw a quote by somebody recently. I think John posted this, and it was by some actor that's well known these days. He said, you know, if I'm doing my 25 laps in the pool and I'm counting every lap, by lap 15, I am exhausted. But if I am just in there in the pool, nose down, grinding it out and just going forward and not thinking about how hard it is and just doing it, it goes by and I feel great. You know, so just do what you got to do, put your nose down during the time that you have to. And if you're taking action, you're not going to have time to think about what other people are thinking about you. And, you know, if you're struggling with this, some of the things that I do is I do read positive, you know, books, motivational stuff. You know, I read 10 pages a day, and man, that's such a big boost to my positive thinking. If you pick up one of those books, you know, that's on our book list, and you read 10 pages a day throughout 2022, every single day, I guarantee you're going to double your business just because your mindset's going to be stronger. Guaranteed 100%, you'll double your business. But do you have that extra 30 minutes a day? I don't know.
Now, part of mindset too, Steve, we talked about what other people think, but what about the stuff we tell ourselves, even the stories in our own mind that we're repeating that's negative, that's saying you can't do it? I have to silence that all the time.
Oh yeah, that's huge, man. That's huge. It's, you know, having self-confidence and believing in yourself. In fact, I saw Sugar Ray Leonard posted something, you know, that was what he learned from Muhammad Ali. That's what he picked up from Muhammad Ali, that he believed in himself. He believed that he was going to do what he was going to do, and he was going to be successful. He was the greatest. He said he was the greatest, and he believed it, and he ended up being the greatest. I mean, I can remember being a kid thinking, oh, listen to this, you know, cocky dude talking about he's the greatest, he's the greatest. Well, fast forward 30 years, the guy is the greatest. And it wasn't that he was being cocky. He was just using positive affirmations, talking to himself and being the person that he wanted to be. That's it.
Yeah. The power of an I am statement. There's this guy, this $100 million dude that I'm listening to a lot right now. He said, do not stop telling yourself these I am statements that are negative. Like I am, oh man, I'm not good at this. I'm never going to do that. Those are so toxic and poisonous to yourself. You don't even realize it because it's like subconscious, but saying those things out loud and speaking those, it's like self-sabotage. Replace those. That's why we do affirmations. That's why people get their 5 affirmations. Like I can do this. I am strong. I am capable. I am a good salesperson, right? We say that because we want to change the narrative in our mind.
Yeah, and if anybody here goes to our Monday morning role play call that we do every single Monday at 10 a.m. Central, at the very end of that role play, John does positive affirmations, and they're goofy as all heck. I agree, but I'll tell you, by doing those, you're going to get your state. You're going to change your state and start the week off a lot better than you would if you were just sitting there looking at your computer or Instagram or whatever. It really changes your mindset and gets you on the right track.
Bam. All right. So control your mindset, turn off any negative stuff, toxic stuff, and turn it off. And it's uncomfortable sometimes to have to make those decisions. And it often is, especially if it's like people that are toxic in your life. But okay, next point. Embrace failure. This is something that everybody at the top does, that most 90% of the world, we're busy like thinking, oh, I can't do it because it didn't work last time. Or Sylvester Stallone said, you must fail 100 times to succeed once. That's part of it. No one succeeds the first time. I had to teach myself early on, expect to fail, expect it, covet it, welcome it. It's going to happen, but it's not a permanent state.
Man, I must be really feeding myself with positivity this week, because I actually just saw a quote that I've seen a million times from Michael Jordan that said, he goes, I can accept failure because everybody fails. What I cannot tolerate is not trying. That's what he can't tolerate. You know, he said, I've failed many times. Look at his failures, quote unquote, in professional baseball. Well, you know, he did it because he wanted to do it. And then he came right back and won 3 more championships in basketball. So you know, it's only a failure if you don't try.
It's part of winning the game too. Like if you're playing chess or you're playing any sport, you're going to have to give up some losses to get ahead. You're going to have to give up some pieces. You're going to have to fall down. Like I did when I was snowboarding. I fell like 100 times. I was so sore. Like the first day, oh man, I fell so many times.
I hope this wasn't recently. Was it recently?
No, because I put on some weight, so I don't want to be falling down. But seriously, it was very frustrating. And the coach told me, you're going to fall down a lot today. You're probably going to be, he warned me. And so the second day was better. I was like, oh man, I got my groove a little bit. I could stay up. I could ride the slopes the whole time. That's the process. Embrace that failure, whether you're learning anything new, right?
Yeah. I mean, what would have happened if you just said, you know, hey, this is too rough and quit after the first day? You would have never learned how to snowboard, right? It just takes practice. You're going to fail at anything the first time you do it. And you may fail 100 times. It may happen, but if you're devoted, dedicated, and you're really, you know, trying to do something about it and trying to hit a goal, you're gonna eventually succeed.
Yeah, I was chatting with this lady the other day on Instagram, and she was saying, hey, it's practice, right? And I told her, I look at my first like of 100 of anything as practice, like my first 100 social media posts. I'm just practicing. I don't care if nobody engages, or I don't care if my first 100 cold calls I get hung up on. I'm just practicing. I'm building myself up and strengthening myself. So do it while nobody's looking. Fail small while no one's paying attention anyway. So, all right, cool.
They are. Who cares?
Who cares? All right. This is one of my favorite things, Steve, is to raise your standards.
Yeah, this is a good one.
We live in a world of mediocrity and just coasting. And there's an excellent book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It has like 17 secrets that are the difference between high level thinkers and poverty minded thinkers. One of them is rich people focus on opportunities, poor people focus on obstacles. Like rich people are looking, hey, I'm looking to level up. And then everybody else is just kind of like, it's too hard. They're complaining. They're just, it's so.
And there's a lot that goes into raising your standards. Let's see. Have you heard you'll end up with the average of 5 closest friends? You know, one of the standards we can look at in our business is cutting your commission. what's your minimum standard for commission? If you say, I'm a 6% real estate agent and I will, under certain circumstances, lower my commission to 5%, but your minimum standard is 5%. That's it. Or maybe it's 6% and you don't waver from that. Another thing is I have a minimum standard of who I will work with. I am not, the minimum standard is it has to be somebody with motivation to buy or sell. Okay. And what I mean by that is realistic motivation. If it's somebody that is going to waste my time because they're looking for something unrealistic, they're looking for $100,000 house in a $300,000 market, that's a minimum standard that I'm not going to sway from. If it's somebody that just wants to list their house and they're going to list it, 25% over list price because they don't really have motivation to move, they're just trying to, waste my time, that's a minimum standard that I'm going to stick to. So if you stick to those standards, you're going to see the level of your life and your business go up. So it's going to go up to the standards that you set for yourself.
Those sound like healthy constraints, right?
Yes.
Like that. I like that. That's good. And be careful who you're around. Like people are going to lower the standard because they don't want to try harder. People around us in life and in this industry, they're constantly trying to lower the bar, lower the standard. Please, I want a participation trophy, right? Don't, but you're going to be a product of that. So you have to like push that out. You have to change who you're surrounding yourself with. Like Steve said on Monday, that's a call you should probably participate in if you want to raise your standard.
Yeah. And the one right before this call that John does every week, that he interviews highly productive agents, and it's not an EXP thing. It's just real estate and business relevant. And if you want to up your standards, you should be there 30 minutes every week, because it's helped me in a lot of ways. Every one of them does.
Yeah, those are on Facebook. I tune in often. He's got some good folks on there.
Really good stuff.
And those are like mastermind circles and people that sometimes you just have to cut people out of your circle, like cut people out of your life. Even I was in the last month, I've been around family and friends that I love them, but they're broke minded. And that you leave them and you feel like, man, you just feel like pulled down. We have to shake that. We have to like minimize our time with those people, because it will affect you. You will be a product of your environment. Another thing is exposing yourself to bigger, better, nicer, more expensive things. So this is uncomfortable for a lot of people, Steve, but did you ever subscribe to Raw Reporter? Do you still?
I actually do. Yes. That's a next level type of magazine right there, buddy.
This magazine, I believe it targets people that are 5 million plus income earners. It's a level above where I'm at right now, but I'm not going to get to that level by reading Ranger Rick, which is like it's kids magazine or whatever we used to have. Or Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated, right. I think my sports days are pretty much over. So yeah, unless I want to be a sports agent, I mean that could be something. But anyway, yeah, this will take you to the next level. One of the things that changed my freaking mindset and raised my standards unexpectedly was EXP. Has been EXP. Oh my goodness, there are not only the agent attraction people that are bringing in thousands of people to the company and really taking advantage of the revenue share, but holy smokes, some of the sales that are going on and some of the teams and agents at our company they put anybody I ever heard of at RE/MAX to shame. Like, I can remember, RE/MAX and Keller Williams, there's like one or two or a handful of people that are at the very top. Well, dude, we have people at EXP. We have dozens of teams at EXP selling thousands of homes a year. And I was just blown away when I started to really listen and go, oh my God, holy cow. I mean, How do they do this? That is raising your standards and looking at things in a different light. Like that's actually possible for any one of us.
Yeah. Because what is human nature? You're going to seek the path of least resistance. You're going to get complacent. Even if you're making six figures plus, you're going to get complacent. So you have to continually look for those people, seek those people out, expose yourself to those people, get around them.
Yeah, realize there is another level. Dan Beer is one of those guys at EXP, and he spoke at that last event I was at, and let's wrap it up with a couple of words. And his were, you can sell at a high level and recruit at a high level. It's doable, and yeah, he does that. I mean, the guy sells 600 million in volume, and he's got like almost 3,000 agents that he's recruited to the company. Wow. And so every time I tell myself, I can't do both. I got, that's why my sales are down because I'm doing this, or that's why. Screw that, man. There is levels out there, people that are doing things that are 100 times what I thought was possible.
And Steve, do you remember like we constantly heard the message, upgrade. Oh man, it was so uncomfortable, but there were so many lessons and stretching and forcing yourself to level up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I remember booking my first, cruise, and I had the option, right? I could go like a Carnival cruise, 4 days, the Bahamas. Like, okay, do a Carnival cruise, $708. Okay. And that's in a lot of people's minds. That's what a cruise is. It's like a Carnival cruise, which is garbage. Or level up. And Disney's not top of the line, but it was 5-star service. I remember like, man, 2,500. I never spent $2,500 on 4 days. Okay. Once I did that, man, just something so simple as a vacation, right? You're like, okay, plan a vacation. I can go, we can make our own food while we're there. We could do the broke mentality, or we could like level up. What have you done that's kind of like upgrade that stretched you, Steve?
I fly first class all the time, unless I go on Southwest. When I have the kids, I go Southwest. Southwest are great airlines, but I always go first class on airlines. And, part of that's that I'm 6'8", so it's a lot more comfortable. But, I look at it as, hey, it's 1/10 or 1/8 of a closing commission. If I can't do an extra deal and fly first class 7-8 times out of the year, I don't deserve it. I motivate myself by what do I have to do to get there. And sometimes I just do it. When I got my first real expensive car, I probably couldn't afford it, but it takes your mindset to another level when you do things like that. My suits, I was always shopping at Men's Warehouse. There's nothing wrong with Men's Warehouse, but I was told that if you really want to go next level, go get a custom suit. And I did that, and boys, I've got some nice Canali suits now that have lasted a long time, and you feel really comfortable, and you're just way more presentable in those suits. And now when I'm at functions or whatever, I can tell if somebody's got the Men's Warehouse going, or if it's something nicer. I don't judge them, but it's just like, more power to them. It just works. It just takes you to the next level. And you have to surround yourself with people that are doing those types of things. And you will. If you do, you're going to start doing what they're doing.
Yeah. It's definitely not about looking down on anybody. It's about stretching yourself and leveling yourself up. And then when you start tasting that, you're like, man, there's more options, Okay. Last thing is focus. Probably the thing I struggle with the most is saying no more often, because you could have like 2 listings even, and you say yes, but like Steve mentioned earlier, having minimums. Well, you could be like, well, I just need a listing. So I'll take that $4,000 opportunity when there's like an $8,000 listing that you should probably give more of your attention to. But we say yes because, and so we're not focused on our goals and what we're really trying to achieve.
Right. It happens to me a lot with, it has in the past with working with buyers. I know for a fact that when I work with a buyer, it's 7 times the amount of energy and time to work with them as it is to work with a seller. And it takes away from me being able to prospect for more sellers. So, you know, sometimes I have to say no. And when I say no, it's just giving it to a buyer, an agent that will take that for a referral. It doesn't mean that I say no to them. I'm not going to work with you, but it does mean saying no to things like rentals, when we all know that those are, you know, you'll be lucky if you can pay for your dinner at Chili's restaurant with a commission, or so to speak, from a rental. That's a waste of time. I mean, any way you slice it, unless you're doing 100 of those and that's your focus, that's fine. But you got to say no to some of those things.
And because, and this is the eye opener for me, the aha is when I say yes to something that's not part of my goals and what I'm really trying to achieve, I'm saying no to my goal. Like you just said, like you say yes to some buyer or say you say, I'm not taking a listing below 200,000, but you go do it. Now you're saying no to your higher goals and what you should be focused on instead. So it's just bouncing around. Another thing is,
you got to pay attention to that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. You have to be obsessive. You have to be dedicated. Anybody that's at the top of their game and they're operating at a high level, they're obsessive about their goals. They're focused. Like you don't want to get in front of them. They'll bulldoze you out of the way.
Yep.
Let's see here. Paying attention to how you're spending your time, like what percentage is actually going, if you were to log your day, it's a painful, exercise, but it's revelatory. You'll be like eye open to like, wow, I spent 3 hours on stuff that doesn't move the needle.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say real quick before we wrap this up. It's always the same thing with people that I'm trying to help go to the next level. And I'm guilty of this too. There's so many different, you can overthink it. Okay. Paralysis by analysis. Okay. So overanalyzing, you're overthinking it. Here's what it comes down to be successful in this business. Jesse, do you have the 11 or 12 steps of our book up here somewhere, or you know those off the top of your head? That's what it is right here. Adopt the right mindset. We talked about that. Make a decision on what your goal is, what you want to do. Define what that goal is. Write it down. Write down what your goal is. Then make a business plan to achieve that goal. Create a schedule that's going to allow you to achieve that goal on a daily basis. Get some accountability partners. Guys, we have the accountability partners right here on the 4 or 5 coaching calls, things that we talked about all week. Practice and role play. We do that on Monday automatically. You can get a couple of other partners. If you're doing this for the first time or just new or been doing it forever, I would suggest doing it 3-4 times a week. Okay. And then track your numbers so you can figure out what you're doing. Prospect and market for listings and buyers. That's going to be part of your schedule. So within that schedule, you're going to prospect, which means incoming, outgoing, or fresh prospecting calls, whatever it is. For 2 hours a day, you're going to make over $150,000 a year. And what business systems and processes do we use? I don't care what you use. You can use a cell phone and a piece of paper and run this business. And I know people that are selling 100 homes a year. That's what they use. So I don't give a crap about all the other bells and whistles. We just happen to use, I just happen to use Mojo and KB Core. Leads go in, I call the leads, I systematically do that for 2 hours a day. I follow my schedule and you will have success. That's it. There's no magic pill here, guys.
And be at a brokerage that'll pay you a little bit more too.
And you might as well leverage the brokerage that's going to give you a retirement without doing anything special.